So welcome everybody, and sorry for the technical bloops. Um, I'm not sure when it was that Christy Darty first contacted me on Facebook telling me about the brainchild that became Invisible Strings. 113 poets respond to the songs of Taylor Swift. I didn't know her beyond a few interactions on social media, but Christy's energy is undeniable. That is, she cannot be denied. I confess to the fact that I also knew next to nothing about Taylor Swift and didn't consider myself part of her constituency. But there Christy was telling me she'd had a vision on the night Taylor announced the title of her then forthcoming album, The Tortured Poets Department. She envisioned a project that would serve as a bridge between literary culture and Swiftie culture, and that would therefore bring an expanded readership to poetry. Swifties, she told me, are obsessed with close reading Swift's lyrics. She said that Swift plants Easter eggs into her songs and videos and costumes and album books and social media posts for devoted listeners to find images and motifs and characters that reappear and cohere and create a shared universe for those in the know. Would I be willing to write a poem under the influence of a Taylor Swift song? Christy asked me. Would I consider embroidering some Swiftian Easter eggs into the poem? Well, okay, I said, sure, why not? Though I hadn't a clue as to what that would look like, or if I had the chops to make it work, I usually think it's best to say yes rather than no. Christy went on to invite others to the party, many of the most lauded literary figures of our time. Yes, they said, yes. We needed a project, a bejeweled red scarf as big as the sky to bind us together. We got out our glittery gel pens, our fountain pens, and our quills and got to work. And we have our fairy swift mother, Christy Darty, to thank for devoting her optimism and undeniable will to this project, all while going through some of the most challenging physical illnesses and losing her beloved grandfather at the same time. Between inception and submission to the publisher, she turned over this manuscript in less than 8 unthinkable weeks. Christy's engine runs high with very little sleep and food. Her fuel is love. It really is. She's a real tough kid, is what I'm saying. She can handle her shit. They said, babe, you got to fake it till you make it. And she did. Poet, professor, PhD candidate, editor. Here is Christy Frederick Darty.
Thank you so much, Di. Thank you so much for that beautiful introduction. I appreciate you and admire you more than you know. And I thank you so much. And I want to thank all of the poets who are here tonight to celebrate Invisible Strings. 113 poets respond to the songs of Taylor Swift. When I envisioned this book, I never dreamed of this kind of response. It was a dream, as so many things are. And I'm so thankful that you came on board and that you're here with me, and that this book, this poetry anthology, can bring some joy, just as Taylor's music does for hundreds of millions of fans across the world. Language is so often a solitary event for writers. It's something that we do alone. For readers, it's also something they do alone. And the magic of Taylor Swift and the magic that this Eras tour, where it has catapulted her to the top of the world, the magic, just so you know, I've been to them, the magic isn't Taylor Swift herself. The magic is that 70,000 people in a stadium sing together her words, sing together words that speak to them, that they have listened to by themselves, that they have read by themselves. And then they entered into this safe, shared space and they share them together. And that's what I hope that these poems can do, that they can resonate in the way that a Taylor Swift song does with Swifties and with readers of contemporary poetry. And we can move poetry into conversation when we have a songwriter like Taylor Swift who shows us what language can do. I really feel that contemporary poets have room on the playlist of Swifties. Thank you all for being here. Again, as I said in an email to the poets yesterday, and I'll say this quickly as we are pressed for time. After the election, I was disheartened. It wasn't what I envisioned in my head when this book came out. It's not the leadership I envisioned. And it felt somewhat trivial. It didn't feel right. And then I remembered what our president-elect tweeted for the world to see after Taylor endorsed Kamala Harris. He tweeted, "I hate Taylor Swift." And I realized then that this book might be an invisible string that's even more needed politically now, as 113 poets validate her artistry and validate her as a songwriter, an American songwriter, and first and foremost, an American citizen who does not deserve to have the president-elect talk about her and say he hates her on a social forum. So it is my hope that while the book, far from trivial, will be something that can boost our spirits and Taylor's spirits in the light of the incoming administration in January. I'm going to turn it over to Diane now. Just the few words about, I wanted to thank all of the poets as well for their lines they provided for the cento, which I created by compiling these lines, writing them on pieces of paper and dropping them all over my house physically, walking amongst them, and letting them speak to me. I compiled them until I exhaustedly gave up. They were all in a paragraph, and I turned them over with permission to Diane, who put, as she does, puts things into containers that makes them work and turns them into not just a paragraph full of words, but an art form. She has taught so many of us to do this with her writing. And Diane, I'm turning it over to you now to say a few words about how you so brilliantly put the cento into a container and to read your poem. Thank you all so much for being here.
Di, you just need to unmute.
Okay, what a cento is a compilation of lines from other sources, other than the poet themselves, reformatted and designed into a poem. And so we had all 113 poets, pretty much all, give us a line, one line from their own work to work with. And that was chaos, kids. But we're used to chaos, are we not? So we formatted them into a design that also numerically carries with it some of Taylor's Easter eggs. And so hopefully you'll be able to enjoy untangling that. But the cento ended up, because of the brilliance of the poets who are contributing lines, so beautiful and weird and surrealistic and cool. So hopefully you'll enjoy that too. I'm going to read my poem and then I'm going to get out of the way so we can hear everybody else. So thank you very much. So my poem is called The Lucky One. And Christy assigned me the song that it's written from. The lucky one. The first was my father. They carted him away in his blue suit, speckled with rhinestones of dew. I was feather young, just 7, too young to believe in heaven or to know how to cry when something dies. Then came my romantic era. I was sassafras leaf green, barely 13, foreseeable. I was raised on green and 13th. It was no Valhalla, no Innisfree. Love arrived like spring with its absurd accessories. I was delicate, love's delicacy. We loved with a love that was more than love. I learned that in honors English. Love left tracks, mouse turds on the butter dish. My heart hammered like a geode, exploded into lethal crystals. Then came the era of rebellion. I was a hellion with an orange bolt of lightning in my hair. I wore fake snakeskin underwear, my eyeshadow bruised blue, but like a boxer, not a martyr. Wrote Sylvia in red lipstick on my jeans, read Ariel in the bell jar, ate contaminated pickles from a supermarket fire. Yes, it was a performance. The heart performs its projections, symphonic, though love is best when it's not symbolic. I learned that decades hence, after I'd shed 1,000 selves like flimsy gowns, until what was left was the sun-kissed chrysalis breaking its artifice. White violets opened, and purple creatures rose on their watery stems. May apples offered up their diadems of poison fruit, and chimney swifts returned, sounding their tortured flutes. I've been broke, and I have broken. Horse or heart, that goes unspoken. The breaker thinks they won, but the broken is the lucky one. Thank you.
Thank you, Di. Up next will be Dean Rader.
Hi, everyone. Great poem, Diane. Lovely to hear you read that. Good to see you all. Thanks, Christy, for inviting me to this really awesome project. I'm going to take my cue from Diane and just read my poem. And then I'm going to escort my son, Henry, who's actually here in my office with me, to his music concert, which is happening right away. So in the spirit of poems and music, I'm going to read this poem for you, Henry. And I, too, am responding to a song that I was assigned by Christy. And she gave me a good one. So thank you, Christy. This is called Creation. And on the 8th day, God was totally done with the haters. Nothing but complaints about acne, mosquitoes, unripe fruit. Where's my house? Where are my clothes? What's with the serpents? And so God did not bless the 8th day, and she did not rest, and she did not see that it was good, in part because God's boyfriend told her to clean up the areas around the swamps and make more mountains. His best work? An asteroid. Whatever. Has he even seen the firmament? She nailed it. Beaches, too. And Lord, the animals. They never shut up. But she doesn't mind. They're hers. And the color of the sky, she invented that. Same with fire. But she's saving the good stuff for later. Rain, earthquakes, ice storms, lightning. Wait till they hear thunder. Now that's godly. A reminder. At the present, though, it's all judgment, all critique, nonstop and rude. Everyone thinks she's getting it wrong. But wait until they hear bird song, wave wash, leaf lilt, wind rush, river run. She made the howls of wolves, the bristle of cicadas, the puddles of rain, and all the cries. And she made the sounds of sticks and teeth and tongue and stone and skin and mouth and bone and sea and roar and wail and call and clap and sigh and gasp and moan and mew and chant and chirp and purr and trill and hum and laugh. She's making music. That's what they don't know. But they will, because everything is moving, everything vibrating in one great dance that is the act of becoming. Let there be light, and there was light. She will put behind her the darkness of day 8. Tomorrow is day 9. She was born to create. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Welcome, Hollie.
Hi, this is so nice to be here from the UK. Thanks for having me. My poem is on page 130 and it is called For a Friend Considering Leaving. Once smitten, kisses you could never get away from. Now they duck in and out for dinner, swallow meal times whole as if imprisoned at the table. You offer conversations like chasing forests falling. They answer like condolences. Last week, you dreamt of those first and fickle kisses, when eye contact sent shivers down your pen. Now, crying on the street, you tell us you are leaving, considering what happened. So many questions stop you sleeping, and we listen. And she begins, that friend always convincing you to stay, who sees leaving as a failure, shaming you again as if separation is the enemy. I don't agree. Sometimes, if you need to leave, my friend, then leave. If you need to cry, then cry. If you need a cup of honeyed tea or a glass of cheap pink wine. If you need a hug, my friend, come here. The kettle's on, my ears are yours. My shoulders are prepared for a night of sobbing storms. There is no failure here, my friend. You were both born to breathe the air. And hands that hold you down are not hands to hold in bed. See those cracks in concrete pavements, making way for brighter reds. See the poppies on the roadside, see the new and fuller moon. Some stories end so others start. All buds will bloom again. There is no failure in changing. Leaves cannot cling to autumn, pretending it's still spring. Let your life turn golden. I know you've tried. I know you care. The stars outside are gorgeous. If you need to talk or not, I'm here. Take a tissue, take a biscuit, take some time, take a hug. If you need to leave, my friend, then leave. If you need to leave, you must.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
Now we have Matt Abbott.
Hello. Thank you, Christy, for inviting me to be a part of this and for having me from the UK also. So this is on page 178 and it's called To the Bone. Decades of enduring Tunisian swelter, natural as seabirds floating on silence. The flattened roof at Hammamet Airport, merely a formality. My English brow firmly adapted to decades of enduring drizzle, no umbrella in my possession, merely a shrug. As we sashayed through arrivals in tandem, the mammoth clouds were swollen, a landscape utterly unprepared, quelling tiles cracked by the sun. No option but to surrender. The burst came and we were sodden. All around us, they scurried for shelter, our legs shrink-wrapped in denim. The airport roof overwhelmed, and in its absence, the stars. Thank you.
Next is Maggie Smith.
Hello. Hi. Oh my gosh, it's so good to be here and to see all of your Brady Bunch of faces here and to be among poets. Thank you, Christy. And I don't know how you're feeling right now, Christy, but Di's introduction of you almost made me cry. So if I were you, I would be a puddle right now. My poem is called Pull. It's short, and I was also assigned a song that I then walked around my neighborhood listening to on repeat until I came up with the character. You know, but pretend not to know. I've lived out here too long in the woods and the rain, all the trees smelling of wet leather. I could say the moon makes lace in the leaves, but my wilderness isn't pretty. That's its pull. Even if I stay with you, even if you light a fire and coax me inside, you know I'll wander each night to the dark windows, seeing only myself reflected, but staring and staring, sometimes pressing a palm to the glass, knowing too well the other side. Thanks.
Hi, everybody. It's an honor to be here. I can't thank Christy enough for this inspired event and book and phenomenon that seems to have come along at exactly the right time. I don't have words enough to thank you, Christy. And so fun to see everybody here. My poem's on page 4. It's called How Can I Tell You What Dark Wing? How can I tell you what dark wing drags its shadow across my face? Old nights, others, staggering galleries, silences, disgrace. How shall I speak of poisoned hours? Where shall I file his drunken fall, my 3 ribs cracking the X-ray's cold face? And that one's boring rapture, and that one's murderous look, and that one clutching his thin gray book, and the holy one's sudden conversion to rock, his terrible thuribles of smoke, and he of the pine cone and gun and puckered sheets of mail order pills and convertible wrapped around a tree, and he of the speed of tectonic plates, he of the ever more minuscule dream, and he of the never-ending dread of the never-ending piercing of increasingly hot rain. The old nights fade into a crow wing dark, a judge's black sleeve swooping down to seal fate. The old stories lap and lap. They make the mirrors wave back. They rub the sharp stars smooth. And here in this quiet bower, the distant river on fire, a path of pearls strung between, oh gorgeous, wine dark you. Tell me it's not too late. Come lay your hand upon my troubled face.
Hi, everyone. So exciting. It's just occurred to me that for many of us, we probably got an email or a text from Christy, from someone we didn't know, asking us to do this kind of crazy thing. And the people in this room, we're the ones who say yes. So I love being in this space with people who I know say yes to things, even though they're not quite sure they can make it happen. My poem is on page 6 and 7. 7's my favorite number, so I kind of love this connection. Plural as the universe. What if I were born a bird? Who would I be? A curator of cloudscapes, of guitar arias, a painted snipe, a swift, a black-capped chickadee. What if I traveled as a bird? Calls over the wild hydrangea, calls over the almanac, a wave of sound, luminescent as the sea. And what if I could transform, no longer criticized for how high I fly or the topography of my wings? I'd be a proud bird brain with a bird's eye. No one could contain me. In a little crimson dress of the eclectus parrot, let me touch down by the coastline of Tahiti. Ignore the peacocks with their train rattle plumes. Elevate her story with a scream. I rise above the aviary, the alpha, the heart-battered me. Move 13 ways into plural new universes, to soar above the blue, wingspanned, to vault above the trees.
Hi, I'm Bianca Stone. I'm going to read my poem called Love's Cure on page 8. Of love, I'm slowly becoming more aware. When love manifests from exactly where it has always been, it fills in my head like a weird gold crayon. Lucretus knew love to be suspect. Given a potion for it, it nearly killed him, and in rare moments of lucidity for his remaining life, he railed against love, working endlessly on his 6-volume didactic poem on the Epicurean physics, the nature of existence, and the condition of making the lover into a godlike power. And for this, we consider love's therapy. Love comes like a wave. It hits the ground and disappears. One shivers then. Love makes you more susceptible to wind. Of the erotic, forget what you know, for love leaps along it, the unremembered part of the dream. I stood long in my office, the sun in my head lowered until it was across from me, an eye unable to look at directly, illuminating the mind. Outside, in the dark between the leaves, which I looked too easily, I was alone, with another thought rising. I wanted you as lover, the great phenomenological drama of touch. Memory is a kind of belief among the tortured. Strung lights still up, far into the new year, to know nothing but the wave recurring, then its unmoved, unseen instant, that touch, the long figured rays of the distant sun. I totally missed a line, but you can read it in the book. Thank you.
Up next, we have Kelli.
Hi, I'm Kelli Russell Agodon, and I am thrilled to be here and be part of this anthology, and it's really made my Christmas shopping a lot easier. This project has been just joy. So thank you, Christy, and everyone involved, and thank you all for showing up. My poem is on page 20 and called In Wonderland. We're surprised, not surprised, to learn the chamomile tea tastes bitter. Alice is playing cards with herself and losing. Another lunchtime of self-ghosting, a cheer section of unsexy balloons spelling out, the best way to find out if you can trust yourself is to trust yourself. Every dream is also a storm. Her inner tsunami says, stay away from the internet. I mean, the poison. I mean, Alice, how does your tea taste when life is flooding? The drawbacks of insomniacs are the hours available to analyze a conflict, a convincing script, a role play of possible opinions. In The Problem of Moonlight, she listens to jokes from demons, sipping whiskey, a wise devil offers, advice love, giant love, self-love, superstar love, dumb love, trouble love. Alice sees facts in every fake promise. On a balcony, she reads instructions on new ways to jump. Befriend your demons. Buy a parachute. A shattered disco ball still reflects a fractured image. Her own villains in the looking glass, looking back. Thank you.
Right. Wow, this is so fun. Whoops. I'm Subhaga Crystal Bacon, and I was really delighted to be invited to be part of this project, and my song was assigned to me by Christy. My poem is on page 22. It's a pantoum. Radioactive apology. It's not you, it's me. I know it's a cliche, but how else to tell you it's all in my head, whatever's between us not working out. I'm a meltdown waiting to happen, weak, but how else to tell you it's all in my head? At the core, my insides are rotten. I know I'm a meltdown waiting to happen, weak to say this. You've heard it before, still, at the core, my insides are rotten. I know. I can't seem to get out of the prison I've made to say this. You've heard it before. Still, it's my island of how things should be. I can't seem to get out of the prison I've made. You want what you want, and I'm the same. It's my island of how things should be. I can't make you be like me. What's the use? You want what you want, and I'm the same. I'm like the weather, out of sync with myself. I can't make you be like me. What's the use? I blow cold and bake with ultraviolet light. I'm like the weather, out of sync with myself. You're not my problem to solve, my law to break. I blow cold and bake with ultraviolet light. You're only a tree with roots in the fault line. You're not my problem to solve, my law to break. I don't need your hands behind your back. You're only a tree with roots in the fault line, and I'm some force that's born to shake. I don't need your hands behind your back. Maybe there's no afterglow. Maybe it's all dust, and I'm some force that's born to shake. It's not you, it's me. I know it's a cliche. Thank you.
Up next is Christian.
Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Christy, for inviting me to be part of this and to get to read with so many amazing poets. It's a real pleasure. My poem I chose because I actually lived there. And it's on page 24, and it's called Another Version of Us. Through an open window, we hear the echo of glasses in a cafe where poets give readings on Wednesdays. This is Saturday, your first time in my downtown apartment, just 1 block from the subway, yet somehow unreachable. We don't stay the night, there to pack what I need to head uptown to your high rise, where you want to be. If there's no free will and everything predestined, then this movie scene being filmed on my street when our cab pulls up might exist in a multiverse where another version of us watches our alternate ending. In another edit, we'd say something different and wouldn't decide there's unbridgeable distance between us, not mere neighborhoods, but reasons that seem so impatient now. The actors know how to react. They hit their marks while a crew douses the asphalt with water to look crisp and obsidian, like the moment after rain. Their sidewalk stroll might be the end of the beginning or beginning of their end. Each take is a different direction.
I don't know if I have the fortitude to find it.
Hey, everybody. I'm Lisa Faye Coutley. Christy, huge congratulations. What an accomplishment. I am so in awe of all you did. Thank you for bringing us all together and for including me here in these pages and in this reading. My poem is on page 27. Letter to future me, about which outfit to wear for future wreckage. By will, each aging animal's rib cage lifts and sinks. I insist each morning now smells like spring, 1975, before I was the afterthought in my parents' makeup sex. Little matter that you come from a celebratory fuck if your parents are drunks, afraid to go or stay. Here we are then, having brought them together again so lilacs could cough purple bursts on either side of our double lot waterfront misery. You know me. Know these eye-dividing lines show I lost my youngest son this year. But I'm not allowed to scream it if he's still breathing. I dance the dog the same streets each morning, so when the sink sinks its last, I'll still have grief-free street signs to learn. I imagine every car parked on the longest stretch of our morning route now is the man who last pretended to love us. This life is the satisfaction gap between breaking a vine and full fist pulling a root. Yesterday, I wove through traffic, both windows down, hair loose, to the Menards near that last man's house to get the missionary sex equivalent of kitchen backsplash, so I could return it the next day and risk the stink of more men in my mouth. I have never learned why to make the buried stay. The why you'll want that answer isn't different from the reason I've been kicking. Sleep is all I dream about now. Smell of dead carp on love's breath. The night we buried our crossed legs in the first sandbar, waist anchored to the muck of home. Do you know where our son lives now? If he lives now, I'm not allowed to say losing him is losing him every time I fork filet mignon into my face, hold my head under water warm in a shower, my cheek clean against either pillow in a queen bed where the cats a coiled snore on my hair. Soon she will die too. At night, the tiny carrots I planted reach for life like it isn't a grave. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ming Lauren Holden, and Christy didn't know that the song she assigned me was the only song I've been assigned by a therapist to listen to, so I have a special connection. And I'm really marveling at how all of these poems are talking to one another, and it's not only the source material. There's something else we all heard, and it's sustaining me, at least, through a dark November. It's 3 a.m. in Greece. The poem is called Can She Breathe? It's on page 32. Are her feet webbed enough to glide between worlds? She can see he is an adept swimmer who sees her graceful hands as the ocean quenching, the sea as the root, a portal of light nearby made of the stuff that lines the flooring of the sky, translucent as the truth that she does not need to tell him. He already knows. No human thing but breath and blood is inevitable by nature. Restlessness, like listening, is only a human trait. With intention, pain can take the shape of a purple, sensual dancer in the deep. There is no break between the self in the now, like a wolf thinks. But there used to be one. Hot ice was what caulked it. Occasionally, the portals rose of pressured crystal throw rainbows everywhere. Caught in her silver jewelry, to him, the dark poem of a whale beneath the boat, like an answer, is just a formality. Nothing is relentless, but sea. Thank you.
Oh, hi. Sorry. I'm feeling a little disoriented because I'm in the middle of a workshop and I had to step out and to come and join you all. And it looks like such a fun party. I'm really happy to be here. My poem is, my name is Blas Falconer, and I'm going to be reading the poem The Bird in the Mouth, which is on page 34. Its black feathers flare in the dark. It has no words, only the song beneath the words. The bird in my mouth sings to the bird in your mouth. The bird in your mouth sings to the bird in mine. The song they sing is older than you and I, who have met only now in the long history of meeting. Above us, the treetops nod back and forth in a vast sky. If the song ends, the world ends with it.
Up next is January.
Hi. I had trouble unmuting. It is wonderful to be here. Thank you, Christy, for including me and Jennifer for hosting. I was in London last week and visiting my son who's studying abroad, and I got to take the book with me and really spend some time with your poems and feeling the Taylor vibe all the way through. So I'm thrilled to be here. My poem is called Incantation, and it's on page 37. I know desire like a firefly's flicker against night's deep purple, or the ghost light glow that inhabits a dark room, claiming the space between you and me, soul and moon. You dream me animal, I dream you breath, all wilderness and astonishment, the air thick with magnolias. My heart whispers your name back to the stars, flutters like wing beat inside my ribs. We green, we unfurl, threaded fingers ready under velvet midnight. Let darkness be our only witness. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I just want to say how fun this is. Thank you to Christy for the organizing principle. I'm sorry I have a prelude. I've never felt honored enough to consider myself a Swiftie. I've driven people crazy playing her on the jukebox at my bowling league. I knew I was winning for two reasons, though. One, I was invited to this anthology by Christy. I was like, how does she know I love Taylor Swift secretly? And the other, my partner and I were in Miami on a quick weekend there. And that was right when the film dropped, the Eris film tour, obviously. And she, decidedly not a Swiftie, said, do you want to go see it? And we were in Miami. I was like, oh my God, this is so shocking. Anyway, thank you, Christy, so much. And Jennifer for organizing. My poem is called Lessons Learning, and it's on page 44. Oh, and also shout out to all the mothers in the room, as well as the child-free cat lovers, mothers, all those people. Lessons learning. I'm still breathing, but were we ever one thing only? Are we one silent pang in unison? A season's guesswork in the moon's forever blue, exhaling light's afterglow? Sing this book in the garden where the pub still hides us, the car that escapes us back to the gamble of real life. This chapter's longer than any saga. Sing this book, style these lyrics. As long as love ever lasted, romance bursts in summer's last call, casual pints and the champagne of pining we brought to each other. You got that button down devil smile, spanked energy down. I've got a red hot burning. I'm a flamethrower in the days unfolding. The ones who love are going extinct. We're all getting rarer, treasured by ourselves, ever after only by another. The first step to liberate is to shout out what was, to open space for what becomes, tongues untied, our pet phoenix rising. We shared pain, caused pain. We wanted the glint of a knife, not deadly, to draw just a drop of color so that we could see our love-hewn sun confess us through the blue-red pulsing. I know now it's a fear of having forgotten who you are that makes time turn the wobble of a vending machine glow. Alone in the back seat, arms, hair rising, fingertips static tracing, until another planet later we dim, separate, and pass the torch on. Are the past among us equal now? Are we the real punchlines? Was I the pot shot you didn't mean from such secluded heaven? Midnight's advice brings sunrise hereafters. She who survives shall see again. She is not just life, but also life bearer, ripe from love's emergence, shouting from the rooftops, the only pantheon worth every dice roll, reborn to add to. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm Samiya Bashir, and I'm really excited about this project. I want to thank Kirsty and Jennifer, and of course, everyone who's read so far. Diane, your introduction was just like, and so yeah, I'm one of those poets that was just like, huh, when I was invited to this project, because I'm a non-Swiftie. I'm agnostic. I've never really, I wouldn't know her songs if it hit me on the head generally, right? And yet, right, and yet there's something about language and music that is just it, and that makes the connection. I didn't know what poem to choose for that reason. I mean, what song to choose for that reason. And Christy quite generously gave me 3 to select, and one jumped out immediately. And it's The Archer. And I feel really grateful to be reading this in the midst of The Archer. It's Sagittarian time for real right now, honey. And so here we are. This is my poem called Wabenzi Walks. Because voices, like bodies, shadow, linger and are torn apart, and linger, are torn apart and linger like the thousand eyes of night. I'm on page 46. The thousand eyes of night. A scorpion, a Cuyahoga, a river burning awake. Crying that was the mom, not the kid, but wait, this is not a fairy tale. Even fairies fail our families sometimes, somewheres. Why did you leave? Years ago, Metric's Combat Baby was all over my face feed. At the time, it was right on time, and all I wanted to be was unlooked at. Even today, just like other people. Here's the thing. I don't want to hold on to you, dear. I don't even want to hold you, though I hope you are held. Well, just also, why should I? Have you seen me? Lucky, lucky. Low-priced luxury goods, click like, but wait. Why didn't you leave? No kings, no horses, ideally, no men, fire emoji. We eat ourselves until we're gone. Well, I do. How about you? Fire emoji. Point of privilege, says the board of directors, directing all the women brushing their hair in mirrors on film. And the colored chorus clicks, like, frowny face emoji. Look at you. A night flight lit from my fire, asleep while I need to dance. See me. I'm listening. Here you are. Yes, you. Here you are. Here. Cut R. Hear me. Listen. Repeat. Fire emoji. But wait. LOL. Shh. Listen. Repeat. Thank you.
Up next is Andrea. Let's, Andrea, wave to us so we can see you. There you are.
Okay, can you hear me? Can I get
Yes.
up? I had a hard time unmuting. Sorry about that. Hi, I'm Andrea Simpson, and Christy is one of my best friends. She is my best friend of 25 years. And I had the absolute pleasure of working alongside her. She brought me on. She said, I need some organization. Can you do that? And so I was able to touch a lot of your poems before they made it into this. And it's just been such a privilege. First of all, I'm so proud of Christy. I was there the night she called me and she said, I have this crazy idea. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm always I don't know. And she's like, yes, we can do it. We can do it. And so this has just been such an honor. And I want to thank Christy for bringing me along on this ride. So again, I'm Andrea Simpson. My poem is on page 50. And it's called Ophelia, Mania from the Willow Tree. We marked our love with the blade of your grandfather's knife, weathered bark, our scar of holy vows. Now I search the ground, eyes down in reverence, fennel for your flattery, rue for your repentance. What is your reason? The birds sing Fitzgerald's Cry Me a River, this theme song of our after, where the fault was mine or the moon's. and the candlelight flickered your scene change. Richard III, villain, or Lear, madman? Or is that me? Am I he? Please give me any reason. I close my eyes and see my mother, how she leaned over my crib and offered her hair to my searching hands. I am sad of this tiredness, all this blue. I whisper the verse under my breath, scream the chorus, as if words protect, soothe all of my aching parts. What reason? Your treason? I pluck the daisy's petals. Love me. Love me. Why won't you love me? Remove all unwanted cutlery. Always too many dishes to eat. I munch glass and taste our memories. I line this trunk with vases, rosemary to remember, pansies for each thought of you. Cupid's assault on unsuspecting blooms. I coax my bones to rise. Talk to them as children, hushed, pleading. Thank you.
Up next is Carey. You should be able to unmute yourself, but if not, nope, here you go.
There we go. Thank you. Hi, everyone. It's so wonderful to be here, and thank you so much to Christy and Jennifer, to Di, for this reading, and I'm just grateful to be here with you all. My poem is called No Table I Could Dress, and it's right after Andrea's poem on page 52. When informed it was the very dish best served cold, the kind of cold no mouth can tolerate, not even when the object beneath the stone tongue is detained with rough persistence. It got me wondering what that meant specifically in terms of deliberate harshness, in terms of pulling the frost-polished organ meat from the bottom of the chest freezer and plunking it over the hand-blushed bone china, leaving it to lie as it fell. Baby, you know I'm a sucker for clean lines, perfection, and detail. Would you gorge on what I served before its crystals denatured, before the heart, the liver, the little kidneys clumped, iced together, became a sunk and weeping creature? There's a lack of confidence, too, in my desire to give it over, something so 0 Kelvin about that motion, baby slugs on the porch, ambrosian under the glow of twilight, mistaking the moon for blue sun when they surfaced, and on the blacktop purpled, hardened to the concrete with purpose. Still, I can't bring myself to mash their tough jelly bodies. What tartar, what head low stuck in my chest, what shaved raspberry having been drenched in liquid nitrogen. All in service to you. Lack of warmth on its salver, a drawing down from what's tender, pounded into submission against the kitchen counter, a categorization of as many words in as many weeks that might render the retreat of whole seasons, slow in their bleaching, the frosted street slick without salt. How long were we out? Whatever, I can warm anything even by stepping on it, I told myself, the power of my tongue thrilling me. Everything I knew, I still knew, my breath coming easily, unfurling flowers along its blue path, bringing the hellebore to heal. Yet, in all that ascendancy, I can't from that dead place I placed you, undeaden you. No table I could dress, lace and gild in its sumptuous best, to raise us from beneath the floorboards of my phone, my ear pressed to its scuffed plank in the middle of the night, where I commune with the absence of your heart's moan, or emerge from the depths of the woods within which I planted your demanding. Which woods were those again? And here's me cursing. It's true, I was lost more than once within these trees, and around me, snow without track, everything having been covered, iced and packed, and just visible the white dagger of my breath, the shiver of limbs, their rubicund hearts buried deep in the ground's blood-soaked chest. I sang to myself then to keep the fear away. I remember it working. I still sing, trembling. Keep the freezer closed, lock back my capacity to serve everything whole. Your mouth at my ear, your frost kiss, its mulish winter rose. Thank you.
I think I'm next.
Yes.
I wasn't sure if I was waiting for my name or not. Hi, everyone. It's nice to see you all here. It's really lovely to see. Oh, God. When you go into Spotlight, it's like your face. It's really lovely to see so many old friends here. It's also really lovely to see so many people I usually only see as a thumbnail on social media. And you're like in motion. It's delightful. Christy, thank you for making this beautiful thing that you've made and gathering us all together. As you can hear, I'm a little more Darth Vader than usual because I'm always a little Darth Vader, but the ragweed in Houston right now is murderous, so I will do my best. My poem is on page 54, and it's called Cocklebur. Summer over. Thorns invaded the playground while we were gone. Everybody got taller, the measure of meaner. Kids end up bloody, but the system won't pay to spray. This is the year the boys first wait for us inside the trees at the field's farthest corner. This is the year the girls stop running. Insipid tribe, now we flutter near the building's edge. Moms charged with minding aren't bothered, smoking outside the preschool door. They think they survived, and we will too. Cockleburs riddle the grass. We squat on hot tarmac, braiding each other's hair, learning to be patient with our boredom, learning why poison is a woman's best weapon. We never quite decide on the story. What is it that found her? What took her to the loneliest part of the field, and what were her crimes? She was poor, or not the right kind of pretty, or she wore a red miniskirt that showed her ass. But I'm thinking of last year's sleepover, when she told us her stepdad scratches at her bedroom door, begging her to open up. A year younger than the others, I'm slow on the uptake, not cool like Kelli S or Kelli M. I run my mouth, but I don't say much. The older girls are always threatening to beat me up, but I know what a whore is, or close enough. And I hear that scratch in the dark, know the creak in the hall. Whore. How good the word tastes when I put it in my mouth. Angry as the wind when a blizzard digs in. Thank you.
I'm Kim Addonizio. Thanks for creating this gathering. It's fascinating to me. How many of these poets sound like themselves, or some version of ourselves? Mine is called Resurrection. I put a few Easter eggs in here myself because, you know, Easter. It's sort of a basket of, this is an Easter basket. Resurrection. Welcome to my strip mall. Do I look slutty in this shroud? Peel off the labels, oh my frenemy. I've got my marching orders, put out, shut up, then implode. Don't look so morose, I was only comatose. I'm getting blind drunk on pink rabbits before I hit the road. Nashville and Detroit, here I come, I can sling a sonnet like a loaded gun. I'm a bad, bad girl, ladies, lock up your sons. I really feel like writing you a poem about me. I was such a messy crime scene. You're a cop without a clue. I turned into a pretty tree to get away from you. Forget about calling, I drowned my phone. I'm not a bitch and I don't want your bone. The only line of Gertrude Stein's I ever understood. It's wonderful how I am not interested. I'm not going to hide in the nearest bathroom stall. Honey, I'm not going to hide at all. See, I placed my heart in Tennessee, and red it was upon a hill, and there it perches, singing still. Thanks.
Up next, we have Teri. Are you able to unmute?
Yes. Hello.
Perfect.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Jennifer, for hosting us. Thank you, Christy, for this passionate dream and making it a reality. And thank you for the incredible poets who are in here. This is a dream. My poem is on page 61, and it's called Tempered. And I'm Teri Ellen Cross Davis. Good evening, everyone. Your friend said you wanted to meet Miss Bronze. I fit the mold, living next door and all. The invite to come by rang in earnest when your boy said it. I just knew I loved your name. Saturated from sunlight, we spent a sparkling summer rusting. We put on a good performance. From bar to bed, you showed me off, a pretty arm piece dipped in metal. By fall, I'd be alone with dents in my crown. Like a petulant rock star as the last song ends, flipping off the audience. What is it about small men when they meet a woman worth knowing? The pinup becomes a pushpin, love a forgotten quotidian. Drifting under starlight, we spent a sparkling summer. I swam to you, mistaking a riptide for an invitation. You took everything out of me, and I just loved your name. Thank you all so much. Wonderful to be here.
Is it my turn? Is it my turn?
It is.
I can't even. I just had to give Carey a pun before I could start. This is such a privilege to be part of this, and it's a lot. And Christy and Andrea have done so much for this, and I want to thank my students Annabelle Facey and Matt Tibbins, who contributed some of the end words for what turned into the poem that Christy wanted. The much maligned Swiftie considers her options. I think I'm in my reputation era. I crave support from friends. Commitments scare me. I try to keep the tears off my mascara. I used to share sad tales with any hearer, anyone able to hold my hand and bear me. But now I'm in my reputation era. I thought each boy who kissed me had to care, had to care a little, no, a lot. Those boys could wear me down the way hot tears dissolve mascara. They saw me as a gem and then a terror because I called them out. They wouldn't share me. So now I'm in my reputation era. I slink and stare and shine. I'll be your mirror, or else your boa constrictor. You can wear me. I lick my lips and hiss through new mascara to tell you the toxic truth about love. Just dare me. I'll keep you watching now. Don't try to pair me off or up or down. You can't repair me, and I know I can't fix him. He can't snare me. I'm done with tears. They can't touch my mascara. I'm finally in my reputation era. And there we go. Ooh, am I supposed to say who's next?
Uh, I can introduce myself. Hi, everybody. I'm Shikha Malaviya, and it is an absolute thrill and honor to be in community with all of you. Thank you so much, Christy. You know, I'm not a Swiftie. My daughter helped me choose the song because she is. Thank you, Jennifer, for hosting. And I will share my poem, which is on page 63, and it's called Hark! The Raucous Heiress Speaks. It's a persona poem. Listen, I poured champagne in the pool to mask the chlorine, and I talked over all the others because I wanted to be heard and seen. Don't let anyone tell you that you laugh too loud, and you can marry for love as many times as you please. Also, all that master of one stuff is bullshit. You can be more than one thing. Women always are. I was a sculptor, composer, philanthropist, artist, and a patron of the world's most elegant form of dance, ballet. In my backyard, I even built a stage for pirouettes and pliés. The neighbors weren't pleased. Mistress of my own mind, if you know what I mean. Listen, like people, houses have their own karma. You are here because this house wants you to be. Between azure skies and cerulean sea, both you and I, strong as the tides, call it kismet, call it folklore, call it holiday, call it high watch. Once a lookout for British ships, now a mansion for the successful bitch. Between 8 bedrooms and 11,000 square feet, we were destined to meet. I was here is stamped in the air, and now I bequeath that to you. Don't let anyone piss in your pool. In all your songs, stay true. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Topaz. I am calling in from New York City, and I'm so incandescently grateful to be here with all of you. Oh my gosh, my face is really big now. Okay. Yes, thank you to Christy, thank you to Jen, thank you to everyone who is part of this project. It's really such an honor to be here. I'm going to read my poem, Grief Observatory, which I wrote after one of my favorite, I think probably my favorite vault track that Christy assigned me. So that was a nice little moment of kismet. And I also have an essay in the back of the book about love and grief and how often they wear the same faces. This is called Grief Observatory. A year of trying to love you neatly, and I'm still scrubbing stains off of the stove. White sugar coagulating in the kitchen sink, purple shadows beneath the pigeons on the windowsill. You tell me you've never seen the Northern Lights, but with all that talk, you have to believe they're beautiful. I tell you, I thought I knew what grief was, and then my friends started dying in front of me. So 300 missed calls from my father, and finally I picked up the phone. So the lipstick quivered in the dresser drawer after every use, begging once again to be touched. I move with the ease of a woman only playing woman. I bleed through the bed sheets. I vacuum baking soda from the mattress. My cutting board and I build a life together out of garlic and dish soap. On the walk to work, I pass the crowd of people who go to the lake to be alone, and I begin to understand. Pot holder flung on the counter, single egg yolk in a coffee mug, freezer growing rust, full of wilted roses and whiskey sours. Your touch on my lower back squeezing through to the hallway, careless and crucial, and this is my skin because you touched it. The last time, 4 months off of medication in the city I swore would save me, I screamed at you in the kitchen, we can't keep doing this. If we keep doing this, when is it over? When is it going to stop? And you put out your hands to calm the caged animal of my body and said, tomorrow. My dead friends cook me dinner, and I wake up with burns across my palms in the shape of Iceland. I've never seen the lake they chose over my love, but with all that talk, I have to believe it's beautiful. Thank you.
And now we have Jill Bialowski.
Is that working?
Yes.
Okay, you can see me? Can you see me? I'm sort of, okay.
Yes, we can see you.
Oh, okay, thank you. Christy, I want to thank you for giving me a lot of cred with my 20-something-year-old son who thinks his mother is very cool to have a poem in a Taylor Swift anthology. It's terrific, and I'm so glad to be here. My poem is on page, and thank you for giving me such a great song to write a poem from. My poem is on page 71, and it's a pantoum, and it's called I Go Back to the Past All the Time. Here I am in my 6th decade, still looking back to the girl in turmoil, wanting eyes and signature braids, sitting on cold brick steps for your call. Still looking back to the girl in turmoil who lost her father when she was year 2, sitting on cold brick steps for your call. Is that why I couldn't get enough of you? Who lost her father when she was year 2 is the girl who can't stop loving you. To grow attached means to suffer through. Is that why I couldn't get enough of you? December closed the gate and cut the latch. To love and pain won't bring back early loss. Is that why I couldn't get enough of you to last? Every time it snows, I remember the cost. To love and pain won't bring back early loss. Pressed in wax paper is your rose I preserved. Every time it snows, I remember the cost. In December, I woke up and lost my reserve. Pressed in wax paper is your rose I preserved. I knew in my heart it couldn't last. In December, I woke up and lost my reserve. Does the future always stretch back to the past? I knew in my heart it couldn't last. Our childhoods unwillingly bound us together. Does the future always stretch back to the past? In cold December, the snow is forever. Thank you.
Up next is Ellie.
Hello. Hello, beautiful people. Thank you all for being here tonight. Thank you so much to those of you who contributed to this anthology. It's an honor to be included and to read among such incredible poets, both those I was previously familiar with and both those I was not previously familiar with before tonight. And also, of course, thank you to Christy, Diana, and Jennifer for organizing the event. I have brought my poem, Job 5:7, which is on page 73. The poem that I received was my favorite poem when I was, or my favorite song when I was 14. So I wrote a poem about being 14. Once I was 14 and alone in my room. Once I saw the future as surely as if it played on a screen before me. The wife I would become, the hand I would hold to the end of my days, a boy who never kissed me but who once tilted his head and narrowed his green eyes at me over lunch in the geometry teacher's classroom and said, matter of fact, we'll probably date someday, but not right now. I prepared myself devoutly, head down, a ritual in service of the plan. I knew what I was owed. If only I stayed patient. If only I was good. If only I got better and kept getting better. Habits formed under the flicker and glare of fluorescent lighting. I sat in on lunch Bible study to pretend I was a part of something greater. I kept myself from noticing that the other girls seemed to know something I didn't. The secret to building the foundation of your life within the means you had available. Whatever I imagined was true, at least for the moment I imagined it. Whatever I wanted so badly that I never would have known what to do had I gotten it. That's what I tell myself. Outside my bedroom window, the sky turned orange, turned pink, turned purple. The rain hit the roof, definitive. Everything I typed under the covers glowed and stayed quiet. There was a life for me. It wasn't mine. I made it up. I kept it to myself. Thank you.
That was amazing, Ellie. Hi, everyone. I'm Tennyson Black. I am on page 80. And this, I knew right away when Christy invited me what song I wanted, and I think it came out of my mouth like that fast. I knew exactly what I wanted. And I was honored to play some small role in helping Christy along the way. And I'm honored by that. And by being here tonight with some of my favorite poets in the world. This is June 1st, 7 a.m. And if you are queer or know somebody queer, you know what June 1st begins. My mother told me I must be made of steel, forged and folded. My daughters will tell you I'm spicy. Born to lock eyes with hate like it's my job to wear them down, wear them out, put them back. But I want to skip through daisy fields without twisting my ankle. I want a plate of the sugared roses and nectar from the table of I don't have to follow politics, but it must be nice to live in a world where shadows melt off of bedtime walls into pools of chocolate that boost your iron levels and whiten your teeth. Kissing her tastes like snow cones and marshmallow wine. So I take my time in the shower because it sings back to me. I spank my lover the way her salt talks to my tongue. And I want to sing the kindest words to the meanest people. Wander through their minds, posing questions that make them cry, and then shit joy into their process. I'm wishing for kangaroo companions and jungle gym politics so rock, paper, scissors can end the wars. I want tiger stripes and a tail that swishes out my thoughts in 4/4 time. I want the light in my eyes to be noticeably brighter whenever she catches me looking at her. I want to take a bath in signs so I can talk some sense into them, but instead I'll edge her along until she's looking back at the planet from the black. I'm kayaking through the ocean of her, trying to learn how to be still. I want to hear the sun for the first time. I want to leave footprints in my birthday cake. My rainbows come in circles. Let's walk upstairs made of mason jars to set free the fireflies so we can all tell stories in Morse code kisses. I want to begin every conversation with the words I love you first. She brought me flowers. They were all she had, and she gave them to me, along with the time it took to pick them, to choose just the right blooms, and then to come find me and tell me they were for me. She had tied them with a blade of grass. She skipped away and came back to take a bow. The signs come more than I can make her do the same, and they pace us while she laughs into me, and we walk by, holding hands. Thank you.
That was fantastic. I am next. My poem is on page 94, and while you're turning there, I will say thank you to Christy and Jennifer and everybody. Oh my gosh, this is amazing. I wish I could just like hug you all right now. Just incredible. So I told Christy that I was trying to write an anniversary poem and it wasn't going well. So my song was a useful prompt that helped me generate a poem I had been trying to write. 1993. You were 10 when you first saw the boy you'd marry from across the room. Who's that? You asked your best friend. The new pastor's kid. The man you now watch across the second story of your condo, your boy's asleep upstairs. Oh, he's kind of cute. No, I already met him, she said. He's really annoying. But you never found his energy and intelligence annoying. And you were the one who always wrote back after he moved away. No romance then, just updates on school plays and family, choir and friends. You saw each other a couple of times during his summer visits, but the shift began when he came back west for college, and you found yourselves together with a group at Six Flags one fall night. You were the only ones who wanted to ride the old wooden roller coaster, so you set off together. After that, the letters turned into calls and frequent late-night chats, all the outdated technology you'd joke about later. Your love coaster, your love AOL Instant Messenger. You don't like him, do you? Your best friend asked. No, you said. Then, wait. Realization dawning. Now, he's arms deep in suds, which is, objectively, hot. But even if he wasn't washing dishes, and even if you hadn't been married for 20 years, big smile, all energy, his face would still be the one you'd see first in a crowd. His face will always call you home. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. Howdy. It is a deep joy being with you all tonight. Thank you again, Christy. Thank you, Di, for your words, and Jennifer for hosting us. This is an amazing experience to be a part of, and I feel so fortunate. I'm Christopher Citro, and I'd like to read you my poem. It's on page 100, and it's called You're So Gross, and I Love You. Frankenstein must be still alive because stomping around 2 arms out for love makes such sense in our patchwork of woven together skins. I wear shirts with longer sleeves so my hands feel less alone. I'll make a boat out of my body and you can step inside. Push at blue water with your palms. I want to wake with you beside me, watch you open your eyes, my face an inch from yours. morning light across the wall holding us. You could dip a finger in your mouth, write your name across my chest. I reach for the pillow, form the shape with my arms where you belong. I dreamed you've come home. We'd have a home. I take your umbrella, replace it with a drink, feed you rainbow trout in garlic butter with parsley picked 20 minutes ago from our garden. We'd have a garden. Some stalks already nibbled by a rabbit. I gathered them anyway, washed the spit off. Do you like seafood, you ask? Then open your mouth and show me the half-mashed dinner in there. Look, we'd get by, is what I'm saying. In 8 billion people, I pushed everyone into the mud to get to you. Thanks.
I think it's Leah next. I don't think Rodrigo Toscano made it here tonight. So if you're ready, Leah.
I'm ready.
Great.
All right. Hi, everyone. So great to be here. Thank you so much to Christy and Jenny and everyone in this beautiful anthology. This is a prose poem. It's called Oceans Apart. It was 1996 when I first met you in an AOL chat room. I typed and you typed and I typed and you typed and I typed and you typed, and I just couldn't stop. I couldn't stop wishing, imagining, and visioning. The computer screen on my desktop beckoned me. You beckoned me. Each ping in the IM, each ping in the chat, a knot on a rope I climbed. Each knot a step in the staircase of my life into desire, despair, into touch, into lust, into dream, into love. We were so young. I was younger than you by a year, and you were right here alongside me through the screen and across the Atlantic. Your heart in the moors of West Yorkshire, mine in the suburbs of Long Island. You sent me letters and British mixtapes. I sent you photos, American candy bars, and mixtapes back. Each letter a spark, each phone call a yearn. The modem lulled me. The modem lulled me to love. That connection, that live wire, that was a kind of love. The anticipation, the thrill, the desire of the wait, a pull. Our love was a field inflamed by story, by phone cards, by folktale, by novels I sent you pages of, by the essence of wonder. I wonder if you will be as I imagine you to be, in person. I wonder if the computer you is the real you. If the real you is a you I love. Love. It's what all stories are about. All love is love, but young love is special. That pureness is an opening. You were Heathcliff, and I was Kathy, and I dreamt of those moors, that heather. We were so young. We were so pure, so innocent. I knew the want of you. I knew the want in me. It grew more electric with every letter, every ping, every word on the screen. But you said yes to me, and I said yes to you. And so our parents both said yes to us both through the telephone. And when we picked you up at the airport, that was the love story. You were the love story. The imagining, the conjuring, the yearning, our 7 nights in my parents' basement after midnight, my first time being so close to a boy and naked. I thought I knew how to steer that ship. I thought the story had informed me, but life had other plans, as did the ocean between us and the future, a buoy floating between us. Thank you.
Hello, It's me, I guess. So, yeah. So first off, thank you so much, Christy, for letting me sneak into this party and say some other things about love. And to everyone, it looks as if we've gotten past the midpoint. So congratulate ourselves on that as well. If you'll please turn your missalettes to page 110 for today's poem. Or Barbara Stanwyck in Double Indemnity. Remember the Thunderbird with the top down? Love asks. Because love has a tight schedule. You have to act slow. How about a flower? I have a fondness for blue. Blue flowers just so on a balcony over a city, and love is draping over the credenza. Maybe a cocktail, love asks. And you stumble at the door. Maybe love is suggesting a drive. You always thought love would do the carrying, but it's been you all along, for whatever it was, constructed by what it's looking like and what you think of things. It's a kind of contortion. It's the song everyone's talking about playing, soundtrack gold, as if every word were replaced by its history. Maybe this is a war movie, love says. Maybe that's the only kind of movie there is. I've written that movie so many times as well, because at some point the villain always pauses. The villain has to tell you the plan. It's their genius plan. The movie lives for this moment, and here it is, a pale haze over the water that leaves you standing there by yourself, questioning what came before, like a horizon approaching, a winding way, or what one deserves, or nothing at all. Thanks.
Am I next?
You are Cornelius.
Okay, wonderful. Oh, good. Okay, there. All right, wonderful. Well, Christy, thank you for inviting me to participate in this, and it's so incredible and such great joy to see everybody here. It certainly beats sitting around watching MSNBC or CNN and seeing what's unfolding around us. And I think this is a good tonic and response to everything that's going around us. Krista gave me three possible Swift songs. And I was having trouble with that, and some other things were going on in my life. Actually, I am poet 113 because it took me that long to kind of figure out and work out my schedule in such a way so I could finally get it. In fact, they actually had started to do PR for the book. I was sitting with my niece at dinner on Long Island for lunch on Long Island, and I was just checking Facebook, and I saw the ads, and I went, "Oh my God, I've blown it! It's awful! It's awful." So, but I emailed Christy, and Christy just said, "Don't worry about it. We're gonna get you into." So I am poet 113, and thanks to the Supreme Court, it became very, very clear to me which of the three songs I needed to use. And as pissed off as I am by the Supreme Court's decision, I guess in some ways I can thank them because they were a prompt and they gave me a poem. And I got a feeling there's going to be a lot of that going on in the next 4 years. So there's a lot of Easter eggs in the poem. There's an Easter egg that has nothing to do with Taylor. It's actually Son House, the blues singer that I actually met in my hometown of Rochester, New York. The Supreme Court Blues, July 1st, 2024. This was the song I wanted to write. Sitting like a headlit deer in the living room, bright screen, dark things being thrown into the world by legal spells. Rollback spell of happening again, again. This was a song I wanted to write. 70 years old, and oh, how long have I lived with this rumble threat under the floorboards, stink pollen aimed at the windpipe. One gasp, and then. This was the song I wanted to write. In which key is a death rattle? I got a letter this morning. How you reckon it read? Bereft and reeling, my friends blew up my phone. Guess who? Didn't you hear? I thought we were. Deflate a dream, up jumps a ghost. This was the song I attempted to write. America was just called off. These post-mortem blues. Uh-oh. These maladies of birthright. Uh-oh. Who named us interloper? Why couldn't I hear the music? How will it end? Thank you.
Before I read my poem, I want to give a reminder that it's Giving Tuesday. And if you're enjoying this, think about Hudson Valley Writer Center if it's in your budget. And if today is not the day to give, maybe do a post on Facebook real quick before midnight, asking your friends to consider Hudson Valley Writer Center. They have great programming and they offer a lot of scholarships.
Oh, thank you, Dustin.
You know I love you. I'm Dustin Berkshire, and my poem is on page 115. And I am so thrilled, Christy, that you allowed me to be part of this party. Here's my prose poem. Poem in which I realize that one day I won't miss you. I cry, realizing I pulled a strawberry crystal ice out of the refrigerator instead of a blue raspberry. I cry when I momentarily forget the password to log on to my laptop. I cry after misspelling initiate. I cry when I went to the pantry to find that I was out of Cool Ranch Doritos, even though the grocery list hanging on the pantry door read, "Buy Doritos." I throw my hands in the air, say, "Okay, universe, I'm taking to the couch with my electric blanket." I place my feet on the coffee table. O.P. Your picture still in the frame on the second shelf of the entertainment center. I tuck the photo of you sitting on a rock by Sweetwater Creek in the bottom drawer of my dresser with the clothes you forgot. Yes, I cry again. I look at my phone. I will not call you. You will not reach me. Your number blocked for months. Goodbye. Goodbye. I mean it this time.
Wonderful poem. I'm Molly Peacock. What a stunning group. Thanks to everyone in this book. Thank you, Jennifer, and anyone who's ever done an anthology, and there are a number of people in this group who have, knows how much work Christy and Andrea have done. Thank you, Christy. How fun to have our poems side by side in this book. Thank you for your 3 choices. I knew instantly which one I wanted. My poem is on page 116. It's called I Don't Need Your Letter. I was letting you go for years before you let go of me. Yes, I'm getting better. 28 years together. Cried for 28 days when you died. No, I haven't received the last letter you will never write. Yes, I'm getting better, I say to your friend, and watch him seeking your ending in my face. But I glow now with the freedom I feel, though I can see him searching for my sadness, or rather, his sadness in me. But I am getting better. I don't need your measure. I don't even need your unsent letter. When illness forced you behind a scrim, you started to leave me before you left. Death forced a whole moon cycle where I cried every day with a secret pleasure to feel my feelings as I felt them. Now, with a strange, bright openness, I've turned to your friend, surprised by the ending I've earned. Thanks.
Thank you, Molly. Oh, I'm here, Jennifer. Thank you, Molly. Beautiful poem. And I enjoyed reading your last three in poetry as well and seeing some connection. So thank you very much. I'm reading my poem, No Invitations. An October afternoon, we were driving and you turned to me and said, I can act and make people believe anything I want them to believe. There was music playing, always yours, techno. Your meaning was clear, so I morphed the words into hard phonemes to thump inside the tempo, belaying syntactical meaning, heart dies by this arrhythmia. To let it live for another week seems sweet enough to hang in midair my disbelief. I forget this is not my own, how every breakup poem pays its dues to the breakup poem that came before. Here's a method to unbelieve that you were ever in the inn of in love. Gather some rosebuds, blood red. Chomp, chomp, chomp them up. Chew, vomit, let the rouge saliva drip, believing only this taste of flowers, tonguing the velvet undersides of petals. Christy, Christy, darling, make out with yourself. Don't listen for the key turn. Thank you.
I think I'm next. Deborah Landau. Wow, Christy, such an honor to go after you. And thank you for including me in this gorgeous book. And hi, everyone. Great to be here with you. My poem is on page 118. It's called Without You Triptych, and it's a triptych of acrostics. Free and high in summertime, is that a crime? I followed my obsessions, so what? Did you think I'd stay good? Restless girls get in trouble when they try to quench their thirst. I was dreaming of you all salty night like a nympho, then wanted to die when I woke alone in the lurid afternoon. Man, I'm still into you, and not in a gentle way. Mood, what to do with all this honey? Hypnotic, you swing into view again and again like a legend, tortured, tender, and true. Finally, I'm free of you, slept you off like an overdose in my bare branch bed. Release me. Restless summer has undone us again, stagnant tempest without breath. Let go till night casts over us again its narcotic hood. Imagine another ending where I wake from the dream of you, ghost cold sober but still alive. Who's lonely now? Hurry, won't you please come home? Touché. I finally had enough of you. Full stop, the swampy flood love makes of us. Over and over we struggle in its ruddy, abundant light. Raspberries fill 100 baskets till there's nothing to do but eat. Oh, spare me. It was only his basic naked body lying on top of mine. All summer illicit, we lay like everyone else in the heated grasses, gorging like a couple of generics. Holy glory, fuck, I'm stuck. And now even July's trashy twilight won't abide our overstated love.
Hi, thank you, Deborah. I have no Easter eggs in my poem, but I did use some random words from the song I was assigned to make my poem. So this is called, I think it's called Deep into December. Deep into December, through the thigh-high snow, you came to me, kneeled before the grate and poked the fire until the room blushed with heat. It was all I needed to remember summers at the beach, light caught in a fire ring on the sand, our faces flickering, the moon on the horizon sinking into the sea, stars diving up into night. And we were immersed again. And again, you came in July, month of fulfillment, fireworks, National Moon Day, National Thread and Needle Day, National Nothing at All Day, Creme Brulee Day, the 182nd day of the year, in the middle of the annual calendar, month of the buck moon, days for deadheading the roses, making small bags of potpourri to slip under your bras and panties or pour into bowls for your bathroom. And then, when you're not thinking, autumn arrives with its leaves on fire, its cool autumnal nights when the insects subside to sleep through winter. It's a time when the weather doesn't know what to do, how to behave, how long to stay. The trees producing their final baskets of fruit. Days we stay in bed late and rub each other's feet until our long bodies stretch to meet, filled with sweetness and late bird song. Thank you.
Rodrigo is here. Are you ready to go?
Yeah, hi. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can hear you. Yes.
Okay, great. Okay, sorry. Okay, so I'm ready to go here. This poem is called Espectacularistas for Swifties. Snaking lines, out here's anticipation's guts. We want something, and now even more. Crowds cheering, we're the same people, you know? We want diamonds refracting us all night. Doors opening, and here's everything not out there. We want pinks, we want blues, we want golds. Doors closing, we can do that, and other things. We want platforms hovering above and beyond. Lights pulsing, we do that too, recolorize minds. We want focus up there, down here. Vapor spouting, funnels, horny cool. We want song from all sides, brushing up. Floor trembling, we're different folks, jostling together. We want surprises at choice moments, poking us. Roof rumbling, quivering mess, closing ranks. We want insides, turned outside, turned inside. Doors opening, we can do that, totally, right? We want reshuffling of all feelings and fortitude. Thank you.
Thank you, Rodrigo. Now we'll go to Janine.
Everyone. I'm Janine Olette. I have laryngitis, but I'm so honored to be here with all of the incredible poets in this room. And it's a dream come true. Christy, you're a dream maker. My poem is called Firstborn, and it's on page 120 in the book. Light travels at the speed of light, no matter what. But the rains came hard that summer. The crab apples dropped early, and you were 4 days late. How happy I was, just 22 and already holding everything I ever needed. I gave you all I had, my chin, my voice, and my middle name, Marie, which means beloved. You named me Mama, a far back awe of salt water and round-bellied want whenever I twisted too soon from your baby sheets. You named the world too, kitty, book, bye-bye, and every other thing, like the arnica we dabbed on school day bruises, dotting your shins with little plums, and that birthday girl's crooked meanness, or mine. Your new selves too, unfolding, till suddenly I was just mom, a short O rusted shut. Only then did I remember how all of you was always yours, your chin, your voice, and your middle name, Marie, which also means sea. All seas have two shores, one close, one far. But aren't seas also circles, like the moon? Look how easily she slips through this familiar darkness we both hope under. And those old stars, too, 13 billion years of light, steadfast and ours. Thank you.
Thank you, Janine. Our poems are sister poems. So happy to go next. Thank you, Christy, for including me in this. This is truly an honor. And thank you, Jennifer, for hosting, and all of you poets. This is truly like to hearing you and reading you. What a joy to create amongst you all. My poem is on page 132. I am Sabrina Benaim, and it is called The Suburbs. It was the spring I returned home to the suburbs. At 36, I thought I knew everything will turn out okay. But this is nothing I knew to expect. Nobody warned me about the joy of lending your body to stand in its building, to become another's for 9 months and never again. How sweet an occupancy, with you in myself. There is an echo. All I've ever wanted is a soft place to land. And what is softer than spring? Softer than sleeping on memory foam, waking every day to invent new synonyms. Soft, the cultivation. Soft, pout. Soft, brave. Soft as the first 50 smiles. Soft like June giggle number 4. My heart a soft shoe tap dance, as close as quiet can get to nothing. A strong current of whisper, an electric hush. How I would speak to the baby or the dog, 4 a.m., living room, or in the park, between the baseball diamonds, by the white lilac, where strangers play softball in the evening and often comment, your dog is so adorable, to which I say yes. And while these won't be the years the baby remembers, bubbled in the suburbs, the baby, the dog, and me, my little hallelujahs, my best blooming. All of us are alive and living through this almost summer. A wish would want nothing more. You should hear me laugh. I sound just like the baby, like I've just discovered delight. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much, Christy, for inviting me to be in this incredible anthology. Those of you know my poetry know that most of my poems are sad, so this is a very rare happy poem. I'm Jennifer Franklin, and my poem is on page 133. It's called An Ordinary Day. When I tell you about the latest engagement stories, lavish beach proposals, breathless words on top of the Ferris wheel overlooking Paris, or mention your first at the transplanted Egyptian temple in my favorite museum, you remind me how marriages that begin like that often end without love, without photographs, without a song. I think back to when you said, let's just get married on the Cape next spring, while we chose furniture for our new apartment. At first, I felt disappointed by your spontaneous proposal, but a year later, exchanging vows by the salt marsh, when you sang to me and reached for my hands, my full heart raced. We began on an ordinary day in an ordinary store, on the same sofa we sit on each night, the dog in our laps, laughing so hard our daughter looks up from her screen to smile. Thank you, Christy. Next is Barbara Hamby.
This has been so much fun. I can't, all of these different poems and seeing everybody's house. I love that. I love seeing the insides of people's houses. And when Christy asked me to be a part of this, I was already thinking about this poem because, as with many of my poems, this is based on something that happened to me. So I think that the anthology made me write it a little bit more quickly than I might have otherwise. So this is called Ode to the Little Girl Singing Karaoke at My Nephew's Wedding Reception, and it's on page 135. This is the best wedding I've been to in a long time, mainly because a wedding planner wasn't hired, and my sister and the bride and groom did everything. The tables around the pool, the food, the bride with her 2 dresses, both repurposed, one long and slim with her golden arms on display and flowers in her hair, and the other that my sister's friend wanted to get rid of from her first marriage. But why had she kept it in the first place? Though that's the way with memory, how it hangs on by knives and snapshots. And my brother-in-law has built a dance floor over the top of the pool. And after the ceremony and dinner, my nephew starts the karaoke machine and everyone gets up to dance and sing. My husband and Sage sing a duet of Take It Easy. And I'm dancing too. I heard it through the grapevine, perhaps one of the greatest songs ever recorded. And I'm grateful that my brother is here and he's quit drinking. But he's kind of subdued, and though he's not much fun, at least his anger isn't hovering in the wings, ready to set the night on fire. And that's when you, little girl, get up on the stage and start your Taylor Swift set. And you got the moves down, but you're only 8 or maybe 9, and the lyrics coming out of your buttercup mouth are 10 years down the road, wanting your girlhood back, though you're in the middle of it. And I'm thinking of the time that my heart was on fire with pain, and it was a kind of heaven because the vanilla ice cream of girlhood was melting, and finally I was feeling something brutal and deep, wanting so much to hurt someone I can barely remember now. And time seems to converge like the 2 tornadoes that just blew through our neighborhood, taking roofs off houses and uprooting trees. But at the wedding, we were living in a dream, our memories boiling inside of us like a gumbo of love and her evil sister. And it takes us so long to get love right, if we ever do. But that's not what the music is saying. And when you finish, you twirl the microphone because your mother is at the edge of the dance floor saying, "Honey, it's time to go." And we all know that our dreams will end someday, but we don't know when. And not knowing is what keeps us singing and falling in love again and again and again. Thanks.
Hi, everyone. I think I am up next. Thank you to Christy for having me. Thanks to everyone involved in the anthology. It's been a great experience. My poem's called Bachelor, and it is on page 141. On that bed, I sat next to you. You put your boots on. A movie played, and Pedro Armendariz talked in circles about a prism in his lover's eyes. It was August. The actor's own eyes glowed. I knew at the end of the movie the town burned. I kept it from you. I wanted dark in its place. I made what I wanted to make out of love then. The blue restaurant across the street, Friday night and its yellow booth, my hand moving to you, a soft tongue, a cruel shape. That summer, my intentions and my knowledge narrowed. I knew only what I wanted. For a moment, to make myself everything above and around you, barely intelligible, shining, and yours. Thank you.
I'm loving the campfire vibe. Thanks for the poems. I'm gonna read a poem called On Again, Off Again, and it does have Easter eggs in here.
I can't hear him here.
I was reading that.
Make sure you mute yourself if you're not reading, please. Thank you.
On again, off again. We wanted infinity, like the wall in a stone temple, say at Pablo Neruda, but could never go trekking in other people's wonders. That requires all kinds of unasked for tunes. Out of deference to this fated paradise, the kids danced through our museum of songs. Style, we concluded, was a rusted pickup truck revving a field of clover framed in a chorus. And thus, we never go home to each other, drifting in our detached lives. We prefer roadside wildflowers, faith run out of songs, mountains of scattered petals. My jeweled valley burns bright with style. You are my rebel, my giant, the lift of your eyes daydreaming, my lips counting down the miles.
Up next, David Groff.
Thank you, Major, for that poem. And thank you, Christy, for bringing us all together in this community. My poem is on page 145, and I'd like to dedicate it to my Swifties, Anna, Lacey, and Maddie. You and I, we have no West Egg mansion shiny with money, where Gangster Jay, with his fake fancy name and attitude, his high-class crap and cunning guests, waves his display like a trophy, a lure across the bay for Greenlight Daisy, who never truly lets him dock until she breaks him of his having with the stiletto of her carelessness, then lifts her bubbly glass to toast her own shrugging, shatterproof heart. We have no swimming pool, no view, no body of water to yearn across, no square feet for even a tiny party, no flutes in the Formica cabinet, no dish unchipped, no spoon unbent, no graying chair that will not give too much, nothing on the walls but dust. Having nothing really present but our bed, sprung, worn down, and weighted with what is one on one and mostly true. The two of us, shabby and sleepy, as we swim to the dock we built and share with all its splinters and ragged seams, lying in our own green light. Thank you.
Am I supposed to do something, Jennifer, to make myself jump into the thing?
You're on. You're good, Victoria.
Good. Thank you, Christy. Thank you, Jennifer. Thank you, Christy, for sending me the song that you gave to me. And here's my poem. It's on page 146. And I'm sorry about my throat and hope I don't start coughing in the middle of reading. The Long Marriage. Sometimes when we're at the table with others, I can't concentrate remembering the way your foot fit down through your jeans and poked out tendoned and arched before standing on the wood floor. Someone is saying something about the siege of our ragged world, the bully on the playground, the correct fruit to eat, but I'm too distracted recalling your muscled arm reaching through the t-shirt you wear like silk. Our best friends are quick to claim justice, but who's to say it happened just that way? I only know I've been wrong more days than right. Let them keep insisting they invented taboo, but if the talk ever twists to a pleasure investigation, I won't tell who spilled the wine, whose lilac heels were in whose hands. Behind closed doors, everything's invention, ours to carve on walls. We both know the best place for that gold dress was floating to the ground. It's practically an insurrection each time jeans slide off your hips, but who'd believe the two of us are still up for this much disruption? I've been patient long enough. It's past this old girl's hour. Let me take you out into the undressed night. Let's shiver, let's shake. I'll swipe my lips red and drag you off to bed.
Up next is Betsy.
Am I there?
Yes, we can hear you great.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Victoria, for that. It's really wonderful to see you. And Jennifer, thank you for hosting this, and Christy, you've been incredible. You've been so patient with us all, and you've answered every email quickly, and you've been generous and kind through this whole project. So thank you for all of that. My poem is on page 148, and Christy gave me a song that was right up my current thematic alley. I revert to the familiar theme, you. In the sweater I didn't keep because it wasn't you and made me shiver. Empty sleeves, limp like the ghost of you. You in the yellow windbreaker I sent to Goodwill, which every biker in town must have bought. So now each one passing for a moment might be, then isn't you. It takes my breath away, the almost you, pedaling up the street, coming close, then when our eyes meet, a stranger. So many men, almost and never you. It's always almost now. And didn't you shake your head whenever I said always or never, as if trying to teach me how to live in the almost, the not quite, the sad after of you in the doorway, grinning, green helmet in your hand, kisses in your eyes before our lips touch. You, here and not here, me with and without you, my spirit husband now. Thank you.
I guess I'm next. I'm Ray Armentrout. Am I on? Can you hear me? Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Christy. Thank you, Jennifer. I was very surprised to get the invitation because I'm not a Swiftie. I knew almost nothing about Taylor Swift. I'd heard a few songs on the radio. So, it was good to spend some time with her lyrics. There are a few words from my song in this poem, but this poem is, unlike most of yours, is not about love. I'll let you decide what it's about, but it's, I was to some extent sometimes thinking about music, only sometimes. Okay, Ghost Gear. We're on auto haunt now, ghost gear in the oceans, plastic gowns from Starbucks on their way to the landfills to get cozy with generations of outdated war toys. You love this automated grief, running beside or even over yours, like water through a stick dam. If a baby can make the mobile spin, see the parade of animals, she'll tug the string again.
Thank you, Ray. Thank you, Christy, for including me in this project. Thank you, Jennifer and Hudson Valley Writers, for hosting us. My poem is on page 155. I'm Ruben Quesada. This has been so much fun. My poem is a contrapuntal and an obad. It's called Summer Lover. Everything I say, we remain the same. My love, from this day on, for a man like you, I hold my breath. I am silent. Remember, I was hung up, everyone knew. That summer I spent the night, you danced, watched me on the sill in your underwear, smoked a joint, sipped the setting sun. It was nothing after a long, muggy day, my hands sifting your hair, whispering in the dark, letting my mouth wander, making memories. Kiss me on my neck as the moon slips in, marking my thigh like a slit, a sliver through the clouds. What is going on? My love, this does not matter. I hear you say, stay, now it is you and me. I will say I do, I do, I do. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I think I'm next here. Can everyone hear me all right? Okay, awesome. What an incredible place to be. I'm truly starstruck, honestly, to be part of this with some of my just absolute idols. The only thing I'll say about my poem, I was assigned my song. It happened to be one that I'd not heard before. I was familiar with Taylor's work and not necessarily a Swiftie, but I hadn't heard this one. It's very on brand for me. And because she and I are just a year apart, for a long time, I felt a kinship with her because, we both sort of found ourselves in and out of relationships. And for me, my siblings, they were married, they had kids, they're all younger than me, my cousins. I'm happy for her now that she seems to be happy in a relationship, but this is the place that my poem came out of. It's on page 157, and it's called Anti-Sonnet. There was a time when casting a spell meant heating up porcelain hearts until they exploded. There was a tremor once that shook the church bells on the coast. There was a time when wooden instruments were strung with silk, hair, vines, or guts, when those were fragile, not wrapped in metal. There was a belief that dropping a pair of scissors caused bad luck. There were times when I just kept talking after the line went dead, unaware that we'd lost our connection. There was a time when whole beds touched by fever were burned. There was a month when people gave away all of their belongings and stood reading Bibles in Times Square, waiting for rapture. No one called them up. There was a time when I thought I knew the relationship between these facts, but they don't have a relationship. Thank you.
What an absolutely incredible evening. It's been amazing to listen to all these poems, to all these responses. My name is Lauren Camp. Thank you, Christy, for the invitation, for the kindness, for the endless generosity of your notes and your bringing us together. My poem is on page 160, and it's called My Solitary Buckle of Night. On exhibit, in a dirty city, my mind rhythms like wrens. Years later, I can build from inner memory more hints. The moon plunking down and wings quipped across, fattened for flight. Or the night on some dusted slope where sodden eagles turn circles like careening sculpture. The night looking into a mirror and finding my own disappearance. Another on a wet makeshift balcony where clouds dodged even my longing. A night of any departure while others fix to their daily mimic. A neighbor's eager mower gorging a yard, the steady repeat of shuffled moths, idle roses ripening hope into sugar. I couldn't stay in the room of, or the room of. No more typical sources. I think through the familiar apologies I gave, guttural language at outermost branches. I drove to a valley of decomposing animals and saw it as paradise. My handprints on dust. My origin had a scent that seemed meaning. My room was wood and held unmistakable corners. The future was home and the past sealed together. The creases had already happened. When I took my name to a new side of some other bed as a mercy, I kept such pleasure. I didn't stay. Hills and fluid motion, harbors and final confession, clear water garlands. What I shouldn't have done, I also did. Here now is a view and screen door where old oceans lower to another end. You don't need to tell me how lucky I am. Worn gasket and ruined suspension, which I drive as parallel ridgetops twist into truth. Midnight, nothing to lean against. Every space is a guest house. I was always going to forget. And then I was inside it, the whir. Don't make me say, wish you were here. Thank you.
Hello. All right. I am not, so we are not the one who make ourselves big. I'm glad someone else got that. Hi, I'm Stacy Pratt. I'm coming to you from the Muskogee Nation, which is now called Oklahoma. And my husband was a military veteran. He retired in 2019, and my poem has to do with that part of our lives. And I cannot believe I'm here. Thank you so much, Christy, and thank you to all of you. And clearly I am a Swiftie, Arlington, night one, and I've been one since the debut album, so really glad to be here. My poem is on page 162, and it is called Remembered, Veneto, summer 2004. In between deployments, we went to Jesolo. My God, the Adriatic Sea was so very cold. You weren't heroes yet, just young, and your body's so delicate under the kind old sun. I remember thinking, God forbid if something should happen. Well, it did. But you're more than our loss, and more than your death, more than history records, more than history forgets, more than your names etched into stone, you're us, and the sea, and the sun remembered. Thank you.
Hello, everybody. I just want to say thank you to Christy and everyone involved in the creation of this beautiful anthology. Thank you to Jennifer for running the show tonight. And it's just an honor and a pleasure to be among all of you luminaries. I think it's perfect that there are a bunch of stars on the cover because this is indeed a constellation. When Christy asked me to be a part of this, I was also pretty surprised because I'm not a Swiftie, but I can appreciate words and language. And when she gave me the song, I immediately wrote a poem for Gaza. The poem is not in the anthology, but I just posted it on Instagram if you'd like to see it. That's my handle on Instagram, Skylight. The poem that I did write for the anthology that came afterward is called Eternal, and it's on page 163. I will hear you in every sound, walk with you in every step, because you kissed the soles of my feet, and I've been floating with you ever since. You need not tell me how to remember you when you go. I will know you are still here in another form, my love. Every seed we've planted into this soil will sing of your wild colors and bloom. We'll hail your fruiting bodies into the network of our quiet piece of earth, our quiet piece of earth. We built here together all these years. Have no fear, my darling, I will feel you. I won't have to look for you. I will know. I won't have to ask you, baby, where did you go? Your soft body has been my temple, your mouth the Mecca I journeyed to in the dark. I never knew I was God herself until I was in your arms and you were God too. How I see the divine in every line I write because it rings of our love. It chimes through space and time, the shrine I have made to your hands, your hips, your lips. This hallowed bird song echoing in our trees, the chorus of stars pulsing through milky firmament, sun rising on the eastern ridge of your collarbone. Yes, I know morning will come. I know morning will come. But for now, I pray to our fierce and tender light. I bow to the sound of your skin on my skin, your steeple heart still whole and beating beside mine, synchronized drums slow dancing through time, you still here in my arms. Sweet woman, beautiful wife, take my life and know these precious days will live forever. I won't have to look for you. I will know. I won't have to ask you, baby, where did you go?
Thank you so much. Now we have Ellen Bass.
After 4 years on Zoom, I can still not unmute myself reliably. Just saying thank you like everybody else has been saying. Christy, thank you for all of your amazing work and for getting me to write this poem that I've been trying to write for over 40 years. Thank you, Diane, for saying the first yes that allowed us all to come in your wake. And Jennifer, thank you so much for all you do and for hosting tonight. This is called Midnight Ruby. It's on page 165. Happiness writes in white ink on a white page, someone once said. So perhaps not even you will be able to read this, but I don't care. I'm remembering for the pleasure of remembering when you lived in a tent in a rhododendron forest. 100,000 blossoms with names like scintillation, boule de neige, midnight ruby, honey butter. You propped a propane stove on a milk crate, set a tiny table by the pallet on the floor. You ran extension cords from a pole in the parking lot, so we had light. It was chilly, early spring, not another soul for miles. We were so new that when you knelt behind me and kissed my neck as I was stirring a soup, I was stunned. And there was a shower that took quarters, and we divined how to slide a knife into the works so the silver rained back into our palms, and we could stand in an endless extravagance of hot, hot water, washing each other's hair, the slick curves of our bodies, tight with youth and desire. Only the owls heard our cries. Now we're old. I have to hold the railing to get up the steps. But there's a bruise at the edge of my lip. Your teeth last night.
Thank you, Ellen. Now we have Mary Jo Behn.
Hi, everybody, and thank you to Christy for this brilliant idea and then for making the idea happen. We all have ideas, and that's where they stay, ideas, but you did it. So congratulations, and thank you for including me. Thank you to Jennifer for hosting us, and I want to second the shout out for Hudson Valley Writers Center, where Jennifer is the program director. It's an amazing place, and it reaches people who might not otherwise have a chance to hear poetry, at least in person. And thank you also to Diane for the introduction and for helping to make this happen. So, and to all the other readers, which has been wonderful hearing all the poems. The poem is on page 166, and it has a parenthetical part of the title. So after is after, everything is over. After the fact, I wanna, the indecisive mind spinning like a squirrel cage. The tracks like a ladder lie in the grass. We stood alongside of hope beyond hoping they might take us back to the magic, poor tragic Helen of Troy, to a place far away, a petrified forest, which is to say, I was moving away. You were staying behind my mind in the dark because light never comes here except in the form of some slow falling snow. Yeah, no, that's right. It was beautiful. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary Jo. Now we have Diane.
It's such a pleasure being here and joining this oasis of poetry tonight and beautiful anthology. Thank you for both, and thank you Christy and Jennifer for having us all together tonight. My poem is on pages 169 and 170, and it's called Ballroom of Stars. Here's to the moon's whisper, a silver breath on the cheek of night, and the stars' laughter, silent bells in the cathedral of sky. As we dance a blushing rumba in a ballroom of stars, you are the song, rain's melody on the tin roof of my heart. Your eyes are the ocean's blue secret, sighing to the shore. Your smile is a crescent of sun, burning through morning fog. Love is the ink spilled across the pages of our woven stories, and the crackling fire in our dialect of bones. In the garden of space-time, where moments bloom and wilt like wildflowers, nonetheless, we dance through wave after wave of liquid midnight, as shadows stretch like cats, then time yawns and stretches, and we slip through its fingers like goblin green leaves through the wind's clutches. For in love we are infinite for the briefest spell, wild and boundless as the canopy of night. We are alchemists of paradox, so fragile and fleeting, yet with hearts of bottled lightning, we are keepers of starlight. Thank you.
Christy, do we have our next reader? Is it JD?
Yes, JD, are you there? Diane, thank you for that beautiful reading. That poem
Yes.
is so good. I cannot wait. I would really like to see Taylor Swift when she reads that one. I wish I could see her expression when she reads your poem. JD, are you here?
I'm here. Yes.
Oh, great.
Thank you all. Thank you, Christy, for this kind of genius idea. I think it's going to make poetry accessible, which is kind of a bad word most of the time, but I think a lot of people are going to tune into this that don't usually read poetry. So what a genius idea. And thank you, Jennifer, for running the show. So my poem is on page 177. It's called Moon and Earth. I apologize for any dog sounds that you might hear in the background. Where there is no atmosphere, the ground is unchanging. Every footstep is forever. Every flag remains, a claim on time. You did not hang it, you were the moon, the static surface of falling, words and touches that move only the sea and me, down here on Earth, in the future, looking up and looking back. Every moment of moonbeam and every wave remains a claim on when you were everything. You were the atmosphere. You were the lunar pool. My floods and crashes were yours, all yours. Worship was natural in the time before science and discovery. Who would not bow to a heavenly body? But that was the past. Now, with some will and zero gravity, I can board a shuttle, pull up all the frozen flags, smooth the footprints, fight the urge to pocket a rock, drop it, take one final look. It's all a thirst, a bone-white vacuum where the most promising view is Earth, the greens and blues, even the swirling whirlwind clouds, chaos to clean any trace of moon, man, memory, the silent, false gods. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. I'm Melissa Studdard, and my poem is on page 180 and 181. And I just want to say I am so happy to be here with all of you. It's just the most delicious banquet of poetry, and I've had to restrain myself from just writing wow, wow, wow after every single poem that someone has read. So thank you, Christy, and thank you, Jennifer. And I wanted to say that my poem is dedicated to my niece, Carolyn, my favorite Swiftie. And I'm just going to jump in. It's called When You Rise from the Dead, I Drive You to the After Party. If someone tossed us the sun, we'd catch it in our halos without getting burned. We're cleaning up this constellation of fractured anthems and interstellar dust, threading the debris we collect into daisy garlands for stars and starfish and starlings. People say we're good, but it's more like we're fabulous, like crushed platinum and amethyst planet-shaped paperweights, resting on poems scribbled by moth wings. We slide from one side of infinity to the other without messing up our hair. That's how lovely we are. Like two comets combing our own tails. We toss bears to beehives without harming them, catch falling snow without melting it. We're chill like a bloom of moon jellyfish, bluing the wash and drift of warm orbital waters. See this chill wave ambience we're weaving through the zodiac? We throw a stitch and it loops back around the celestial drama of this earth sky diorama. When we have bad days, we crack them open to discover hope winking at us in the center. We float over mud puddles while the people who wronged us step into them. We can even catch meteors on our teeth without breaking their streaks. That's how good we've been. That's why we're on the top stair of this universe, blowing kisses to asteroids and astronauts. At least that's what the horoscopes predict the media will say at the party I'm throwing in your honor. They'll say that we know when to blink and when to wink, when to take the stage and when to step aside and let the cosmos do its work. So we hang out in the audience, sharing our blessings. You say, may you always find the songs you need to explain your own emotions. I say, may you go shopping for cleaning supplies, but come home with poems. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Christy, for inviting me to be part of this amazing gathering. And thank you, Jennifer, for hosting us this evening. Apologies for the headset. I have a son a room over playing the electric guitar, so I guess that makes sense. And such a wonderful evening to be with all of you. I've read aloud so many of your poems to my students over the years, and this is the first time I'm reading aloud one of mine. So Auld Lang Syne is the title, and it's on page 183.
No.
Last page. No booze, glitter, midnight expectations, morning regrets. No you rolling over me. Just my cocky, croaky, defiant warble, and the body's mortal matter of facts. Already 3,150,000,000 heartbeats, and now one more, contract, relax. An afternoon woods wander, soft path, new snow, old leaves, and the dog, old dog, final dog, tugs me forward, refuses his age, sniffs for squirrel, gobbles a hard scat lump, dives for a dark, stinky splotch, the universe underfoot. Pity I can't bend over, drop to all fours, nose to the earth. How much have I missed in fixed perspective and orientation? Hip and knee shift in and out of alignment. A blue jay's sharp warning as it threads through the pine trees' snow-tipped needles. I once believed songs and sex, the sound of me and the sound of you, our echo, would stave off loneliness. Now, toss it all into the fire. Dark ash, my leavings. What surprises me? How a morning cup of tea, final dog asleep at my feet, teaspoon balanced on the saucer, and a book opened on the table are holy and ambitious benedictions. Don't mistake this for resignation. I hold fast to time, the minute, the second. See? The hare stands on its hind legs in the snow, sentry and portent, ears twitching, waiting for instinct, leap, bound, jink, in zigzag flight, whatever hares do. I follow instinct too. The sun moves across the wintry hours, the long road. I am its shadow. Thank you.
Hello. Hi, everyone. We're all hanging in there. This has been so much fun. Thank you for everyone who's, stayed this long. It's a marathon, but it's a fun marathon. That's not something to say lightly for sure. It's good to see everyone's face. And thank you. That was beautiful, Carey, and for Christy for this. And I too apologize if there's any dog barks in the background. Hopefully, fingers crossed, he'll stay relaxed. My poem's dedicated to my cousin who's like my sister, and this is the first poem that I've written about her cancer diagnosis. Another round. Another round of poison for her body as it slowly turns against itself, has been for years and years. The silent killer, the gray cat stalking its own shadow. Her cells are a circus below her honeyed skin. She lets loose handfuls of black hair that fall in clumps as large as oranges. They catch the wind. I know they are destined to be woven into nests for birds, to cradle new naked life. How I wish we could get away. My car could be a bullet hurling far from the crime of her cancer. All the wounds in the crease of her elbow from needle after needle could be petals of violets. Her port just a place for all the songs to go. Yesterday, I caught sight of a goldfinch in the olive tree outside my motel window, a tiny match lit against the morning dark. How old-fashioned to adore the moments just before dawn, and to wish for brass keys to the door of my room instead of thin plastic the size of small bars of soap. Nothing is as it should be. Her eyes should never be so tired, her face never so thin. Thank you.
Edie, thank you for that. That was so harrowing and beautiful. My name's Anna Journey. I'm waiting for my face to enlarge. Oh, be careful what you ask for. Hello. Christy, thank you so much for your intrepid poet wrangling for all these months. You've been amazing. And Jennifer, thank you so much for your elegant hosting. I'm so happy to be reading with y'all tonight. I apologize for this terrible lighting. In my defense, I am renting a furnished apartment in East Hollywood while my condo is being remodeled. So none of these are my lamps, and I've turned them all on. Okay, my poem is on page 124 in the anthology. Visiting the poet Larry Levis's archive in Virginia, I pull his black cowboy boots from box number 40. It's the reverse world, Larry, where you're a red-haired woman peering down the scalloped shaft of your old black boot. And if no one else stooped over ephemera in the VCU library's special collections looks up, you'll lean in for a sniff. As if the past, like some mustached genie on a wave of camel smoke, waits in the ankle-wide dark of a cowhide stamped Texas, all-American made. Which is to say, Larry, for a minute or two, I pretend I'm you, turning your left boot quarter-stitched in oak leaves back and forth in my hands, pivoting it beneath the tube light's academic fluorescence by that high Cuban heel. The truth is, I couldn't detect even the faintest whiff of you. No BO left over from the mid-90s, no sweat pressed into damp insoles as you danced alone in your kitchen to the Clash as if you were still 26 at the Deadwood. All I could smell was the soft musk of leather, even though you must have sweated a lot here in Richmond, Virginia, those last 4 years before you overdosed, and Mary, Greg, and the Churchill cop they'd called peered into your yellow row house's windows. From outside, they couldn't see where you'd fallen and sprawled on the bathroom floor. One sniff inside, and the cop told your friends, "He's gone." After 12 years in Los Angeles, I moved back east, an insanity I now recognize for what it was: pandemic burnout, some romantic notion of home. In your poem, The Oldest Living Thing in LA, a possum, ancient and displaced in city traffic, tries to cross the intersection at Wilshire and Santa Monica. People emerge from the bars as if they could help the animal, even though those ruinous teeth, the long rows of incisors, went all the way back beyond the flames of Troy and Carthage. I left LA as if the city burned behind me. Once on our way down from Monterey to a redwood cabin in Big Sur, David and I stopped at a Western boot shop in Carmel, where I dropped an obscene sum on a pair of smoked lavender Lucchese's. The boots had lizard-scale toes and matte goatskin shafts that reached my knees. The only problem, the boots were too hot for LA summers and too rock star for an introvert to pull off. When I crossed Rialto on foot toward the tourists thronged on Abbott Kinney, photographers stopped to strobe light my body with their cameras' flash. The shoes felt like a costume, the shit-kicker boots of the iconoclast, the tortured poet in lavender goat hide. In your poem Elegy for Poe, with the music of a carnival inside it, space-time collapses as the ghost of Edgar Allan Poe shows up to listen to the carny's spiel, in which the author's lurid death becomes a sideshow attraction, like the boy with sow's hooves for hands, and Poe's now no more than the moral in the story of his life, the cautionary tale. Larry, at 22, I had one rule about cocaine. I'd do it only if it was free, which turned out to be too frequently. At a music festival at Wilmer's Park in Brandywine, I got so messed up from mixing my drugs that I accidentally stole a child. Near the main stage, and on a head full of mushrooms and coke, I asked a woman through my clenched teeth, "Can I dance with your baby?" I don't know why, Larry, she handed her kid to me. But when Dark Star started up the funk guitar riff to Shakedown Street, I took off through the crowd, the baby on my hip, doing some deranged space jig in which I thought I was chasing down the full moon. It didn't take long for the alarmed mom to catch up, grab her child, leave me to slink, horrified, back into the night. Larry, if you'd lived past 49, I like to think you'd be ordering cucumber mocktails by now, like me. I sleep better these days, unlike that night in Poe's Pub on East Main, when I overdosed on cocaine beneath a stuffed novelty raven and that famous daguerreotype of Poe looking disheveled and haunted, yet slightly comic in his crooked mustache, the picture taken just months before the writer died at 40. I puked all over the women's bathroom, bile frothed in the corners of my mouth. Two men, I called them friends, carried me out to the car, rolled me into the back seat, then returned to the bar. Where you are now, Larry, isn't a knowable fact. Just this black boot, both somehow hard and delicate, with its embroidered toe flower in my palm. In an archivist handwritten list of titles of your unpublished short stories, I find one that should be the name of the most popular saloon in the great cosmic unknown. Kiss Me in the Whorehouse at Pompeii. Why don't I meet you there, Larry? You leaning on the granite countertop as another half-inch of ash falls from your cigarette's cherry, your elbow propped next to a bowl of steamed peel-and-eat shrimp, burnt orange and fragrant with Old Bay. Poe's there too, swiveling on a bar stool beside you as he picks Rock the Casbah on the juke, and you give each other a nod. Poe didn't die of a coke overdose like you did, Larry. One theory is that he didn't die of alcohol poisoning or an OD in Baltimore at all, that he'd gotten bit by a rabid street dog and the creeping paralysis moved from the bite mark up his knee and thigh, finally reaching his lungs and heart. It's almost 2 a.m. and Kiss Me in the Whorehouse at Pompeii, the bartender flickering the lights for last call, which startles one patron's smuggled-in lapdog, an all-white Pomeranian that jumps up to sit yapping on Poe's knees. Poe laughs at the irony, but Larry, you rise on your black boot-stacked heels in an exhalation of smoke, roll your eyes as if to say, isn't that creature just like a poet, rabid, already beginning to foam at the mouth? Thanks.
Anna, what a total tour de force. Unbelievable. So I guess you can hear me, you can see me. That was such an extraordinary poem for, should have been the last one, because the extraordinary range and imagination reflects everything we've been hearing tonight. Such an abundance of spectacular poetry, and everyone distinct and its own. So my poem, last poem in the book, except for the magnificent cento. Thank you, Christy, for making this extraordinary community of poets, of poems, of crosstalk with the entire Swiftie community. Thank you, Hudson Valley Poetry Center, for hosting us, and Jennifer, and everybody's work and love and time. So I put 3 different kinds of Easter eggs in this poem. There's an image which might help people guess which song it was. And there's the sound. So for me, and I think I could hear this in a few other people's poems, although I couldn't possibly have guessed which songs. For me, the prosodic landscape, the music of the song that Christy brilliantly sent me, because I wasn't at all sure in advance I could do anything. And as soon as I heard the poem for the first time, I knew I could. So the music got into my music, and then the story, the situation, and for me, why I knew I could write this poem was because Taylor is looking at a story that I share with her, that many of us share with her. But she was looking at it from close to when it happened, and I'm looking at it 50 years, 40, 45 years later. And so that led to the title and the poem. And now from the distance of time. And now from the distance of time, when stories are over, one in a frame on a dresser, one left to remember. You left with nowhere to leave to, a world where nothing can vanish. From inside the trees or above them, the moon blameless, as I was, as you were. Call it weather. Call it something that lives outside measure. A lifetime apart, a lifetime together, are neither forever nor never. A lifetime together, a lifetime apart. One person turns into another. Forgive past, forgive future, departure. A story continues beyond its erasure. We were two oars dividing one water, and time cannot sever.
Thank you all so much. What an incredible reading. Thank you, Christy, for bringing this idea, like Mary Jo said, to fruition. We are all so grateful to you for your intrepid work and your generosity, your kindness, your compassion, and we are endlessly grateful. And stay tuned for all of Christy's emails. There will be other chances for you to read from this anthology, both on Zoom and in person. And I'm sure Christy will keep everyone posted as to when you can share the name of your song and how that's going to be revealed. So thank you, Christy. Will you say a last good night to everyone for us? Can you unmute?
Okay, now I can. Jane, thank you so much for ending the reading for us with that timeless, beautiful, amazing poem. When the shape of the anthology found itself when I realized I wanted to open with Maggie Smith's poem Pool and end with Jane's poem And Now from the Distance of Time. And it was pure magic, Jane, to hear you read that. And I'm so honored. Thank you all so much for being here. There is more to come. There's some exciting news in the horizon about something that transpired today that as far as how the song poem pairings will be dropped, and I'll be sharing that. More to come. I'm AWP, there's going to be a chance to read in person. Just more to come. And thank you also for everyone who attended tonight to hear the poets read from this book. Jennifer, thank you endlessly for your organization and for Hudson Valley hosting this event. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Christy, and thank you, Di, for starting us off tonight with your amazing poem and the beautiful words that you said about Christy and the book. And this should also serve as inspiration to all of you. If you have a dream, just do it. As Doris Lessing said, the conditions are never correct. Just do it. Just do what you want to do. Just try. And we all have to group together during the next 4 years because it's going to be a long haul. So places like this, moments like this, community like this mean everything. So thank you, Christy, and thank you to all the poets who said yes to this and who said yes to reading tonight. And thank you to the Hudson Valley Writer Center audience. You guys are the best out there. We really appreciate all of you. Thank you all. This has been recorded, so if you had to drop in and out because of teaching or childcare or other commitments, you can see it. And Christy, we know that this was a launch, so we won't post it for several months. But it is there, and you can all see it again if you want to at some point. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for staying much later than we thought. Good night.
Good night.